Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Know Your Charity. This is the first episode of the show. We will be delving in to some of the charitable work that is being done by various organizations within South Africa. Now, tonight will be the Islamic Dawah movement pledge line beginning 9:30 right here on Hilaal TV. And joining me to look ahead to that pledge is none other than Brother Hassan Nur Mohammed, who is a director of IDM and somebody that is very familiar to our screens here at Hilaal TV. Brother Hassan, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and Ramadan Mubarak to you.
Ramadan Mubarak to you, and walaikum salam as well. Always a pleasure to be
Yeah.
on Hilal TV.
No, it is. And I mean, last year we obviously spoke on Zoom, and then we had you once in studio. Alhamdulillah, things have opened up now post COVID 19. So, really, it is a pleasure to speak to you. Let's talk Islamic Da'wah movement, the history behind it, and the work a very great man in Dr. Dada did in making sure that this movement continue to gain traction and continues to gain traction.
I think fundamentally this is the core of it. IDM is Dr. Ibrahim Dada, and 45 years ago when he walked into that settlement in Marion Hill, I don't think he imagined the scope of work that lay ahead of him and where it has progressed to. Alhamdulillah, we have over 82 masjids in Southern Africa now. We do various activities, skills development programs. We've got agriculture. We've got distance learning school. And of course, one of the things that we're most close to our heart is the translation of the Qurans into the local languages.
And we're going to touch on that, but because 45 years ago, I'm sure it's probably older than both you and I.
Yeah.
He walks into the settlement. We're in the depths of the apartheid regime.
Yes.
How does he change that mentality? Because you need to convince people that, number one, the Quran can be given into their language, but number two, the beauty that is Islam.
And it's very humbly, I think he says it best, and I hope later on we have a little clip of his recording where he says that. Walking into that little camp, and when he heard these kids reciting surahs from the Quran, it struck him. He just, Islam is here, Islam is present, and it is our responsibility to make sure that everyone receives the message. And over the years, this translated into us affirming that the English Arabic Quran, although it's sufficed for most people, it's not for everyone, because we have people, we need to reach them in their own mother tongues. In this regard, we were lagging behind Christianity, because the Christian Bible was converted to many languages many years ago. So we're still trying to play catch up. But alhamdulillah, we have progressed, and Africa is reaping the rewards of this now.
Let's talk about the translating from Arabic into the native language, because it requires a certain skill set, doesn't it? Talk to us about the individuals within IDM that make it possible.
Alhamdulillah, we have a host of shuyukh, prominent members like Sheikh Adam Macheso, who will join us later this evening as well. And he heads a team that, we source out the need, what languages need. Obviously, all are needed, but some take preference. And within those communities, there are also graduates from like Madina University and things like that, which now have Islam in them, but they want to see the Quran in their language. So they spearhead this project. And generally, it takes between 1.5 to 2 years to do a full translation, because there's a process. Yes. Apart from just getting it translated, it needs to be checked and then verified, and then there's a peer review process that goes through, and then publication comes in after that. So it's about a 2-year process. From the point where we get the idea that this is the language that needs to be translated to where it needs to go. And alhamdulillah, we've completed 8, but I can say that there are at least 3 more now which are in the absolute final stages. So inshallah, this last year has been very busy for us. By next year, we might be looking at least 11 languages.
Alhamdulillah. Talk to us about the languages, Brother Hassan. I mean, obviously, we've got such a beautifully diverse culture within South Africa and 11 official
11.
languages. So talk to us about the languages that IDM has worked on now to reach the communities within South Africa.
We've focused mainly on the larger languages initially.
Mm.
Zulu, Xhosa, Setswana. These are the biggest languages over there. And including in that is languages from our neighboring things. So when we say Southern Africa, we're not just South Africa. So
Yes.
bring in Malawi into it. So Chichewa, Yao, these are some of the major languages we've also done because the population is high, the need and the demand is high. The process is an ever-going one. So we have to find the language. There needs to be a certain need for it, a threshold we've got, and alhamdulillah, then the process starts. So with that now, one of the better examples I can give you is like Portuguese. Portuguese is the third largest language globally, and alhamdulillah, about 2 years ago we completed this task. And initially it was for Maputo, but Sheikh Aminuddin did such a fantastic job translating it that now we've sent it off through to Portugal and through to South America, where the translation is there's a big demand, there's a hunger for it, and so this is the process that it goes through. And alhamdulillah, we're hoping that we will cover all of the South African languages. The last one we've done, or the most recent one we've completed, is Ruyonkoro, which is a Ugandan language. And over here, this was, again, the hunger. There's a huge demand, and the president himself of Uganda, he went on saying he was so happy that he finally has a Quran in his own native language. So,
Alhamdulillah. And I mean, that's beautiful, isn't it? That when you can speak to the language of the people, it makes Islam and the beauty of it even more appealing.
yes, and Islam is not confined to one person or one people. And Hidayat, alhamdulillah, comes from Allah. But, we've got a lot of non-Muslims that, because of the current flurry of, Islamophobia across the world, there's a lot of questions being asked. And the best way to present it, or best way to answer these questions is with the Holy Quran. And there's nothing better than having it in a person's mother tongue, so they can read it and understand it for what it is, as opposed to trying to absorb it through an English translation.
Alhamdulillah. Well, our conversation will continue ahead of tonight's pledge with IDM. Don't forget to tune in from 9:30 right here on Hilaal TV channel 347. After the break, we look ahead to what you can expect for tonight's pledge. Do stay tuned. أنت عند الحاضري أنت أنت عند الحاضري أنت هاد وصفي. Welcome back to Know Your Charity. We're looking ahead to tonight's pledge of IDM live here on Hilaal TV channel 347. Brother Hassan, let's talk about tonight's pledge. What can our viewers contribute towards?
Tonight, again, we're asking your viewers to contribute towards the Holy Quran. This is our main mission, and it is Ramadan. It is the month of the Quran, so there's no better cause than this, and it's an immeasurable reward for those that will gain benefit from the Quran. We're primarily promoting the Ruyonkoro Quran tonight, but of course, with that, it's every other translation that we had, which I must say, we're always in a constant struggle for stock. And because by now we've distributed more than 150, 160,000 copies, and there's always a demand. People, the moment it's printed, a week or 2 weeks later, we're completely depleted. So we're hoping to replenish our supplies of all of the Qurans that we've published, as well as promoting the Ruyonkoro Quran, because this is an important one for us. Alhamdulillah, this is the main thing. The team will be here tonight, as always. We've got Uncle Idris Khamisa, who will be with us. Abdul Hakmanak Jack, he's here as well with us, and Sheikh Khalad from Cape Town, who's here with us in studio as well.
Alhamdulillah. I mean, those three alone, I mean, Alhamdulillah, will allow the viewers to engage with the the great people of IDM and the work that they have been doing. And you know what's beautiful about this, Brother Hassan, is you're talking about that sometimes you have depleted stock and you need to print more. The demand is there, meaning people want to learn about Islam.
Yes.
It warms your heart, doesn't it?
It does. And our organization, our primary focus is Dawah. So
Yes.
unlike other organizations that do welfare, our focus is getting the
Yes.
message out there. So for us, this is a huge encouragement. It's what drives us on a daily basis. I mean, literally, it's what gets me to go to work, that I know that there's so many people out there that are hungry for Islam, and we have the opportunity to provide this to them, just from our small actions this way. So I appeal to the donors and to the people watching us, and, come join us tonight. Come on live and donate Qurans. Donate in packs of 10, donate in packs of 50, or donate one if you can. But do donate, and contribute to this, because there are many people looking at Islam, and they're hungry to know about the deen that we sometimes take for granted.
Yes. Taking it for granted. I mean, Brother Hassan, you've seen it firsthand, what it does. Give us an idea of just the impact IDM has made on these communities.
The impacts have been phenomenal. It's for us. It starts off at even small scales. I'll give you an example. Like in our madaris, we have children that come through, and they they come, they learn their surahs, and they go to the normal madrasa sessions, and they go home. And we've had parents that come to us and say, my children are much better, but why? And then you say, no, this is what we're teaching them. And by virtue of the children, the parents then accept Islam, which then affect a community. We have a community, and perhaps later on the showcase, on the pledge line, you'll see it, Nineveh, which started off with literally just 4 Muslims, and now there's over 50 families in the immediate area of the center that have all accepted Islam. And this is the type of impact it is. The impact is on people and on communities. And South Africa, we're in a state right now where we need some semblance of religion.
Exactly.
Our crime rates are high. The factors affecting our youth with all different issues, are there in school apart from drugs. So we need some sort of structure, and this is what Islam provides. And by providing this simple act, of getting people to know what the Quran is and the message of the Quran, it builds communities. It creates a harmony inside over there that has a ripple effect all across. Imagine kids that have learned from the madaris. They go off now into schools and university. Their behavior is completely different, and as such, the impact they have out there changes. So we hope that Allah accepts the efforts of IDM, and bless Dr. Ibrahim Dada for making this start, and bringing IDM to the point it is now, where it is definitely making huge impacts in communities across Southern Africa.
And that's important, isn't it, Brother Hassan? Impacting communities in a positive way, because it takes the child away from doing something which could be considered crime, anything that is any negative connotation. I mean, it brings them into the right path, and that's important, isn't it? Taking somebody away from maybe a path where they were on the wrong and bringing them to the right. Allah is merciful.
Yes.
Allah allows for there to be redemption
Yes.
for somebody, and that's important, isn't it?
Correct. Again, it is our responsibility as Muslims to take the message out.
Yeah.
This is it. And if we're doing our job and we're just disseminating the message, then Alhamdulillah, Hidayah comes from Allah, and His mercy is always falling on us, and especially now in the month of Ramadan. So we hope and pray that all those that benefit from the Qurans and the different activities that happen at IDM, Allah blesses them, and it gives them encouragement to become better people.
Brother Hassan, like you said, Jazakallah to you for coming. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you, bless IDM, bless every single person, bless Dr. Dada, many more years of barakah, good health, and
Ameen,
strength
ameen.
to continue the fantastic Dawah movement that IDM has done for over 4 decades, and may it continue for even longer than that.
Ameen, ameen.
And
Jazakallah
all
khair.
the best for tonight's pledge. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless this pledge with success to allow for there to be more families and communities to benefit
Yes.
from the good work from IDM. Well, that's all we have from you here for Know Your Charity. Do stay tuned to Hilaal TV for more content. Don't forget, tonight, 9:30, IDM will be having their pledge line, and you can catch it live here on Hilaal TV. For myself, Ras Patel, Jazakallah to you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
أنت عند الحوض ري أنت هان وصبر